and gentlemen, my name is Vishal Raskina, and it is my honor to welcome you to the launch of Tata Group's new healthcare venture, Tata Medical and Diagnostics, and its path-breaking product, TataMD CHECK, powered by Feluda. We're all aware of the year that's gone by, and today marks a fantastic new beginning. Before we begin, I'd like to welcome the Chairman, Tata Sons, Mr. N. Chandrasekaran. Joining us today, we also have some extremely esteemed dignitaries. I'd like to introduce Shri Bharat Lal, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Jal Shakti, Shri Ajay Prakash Sawhney, Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Shri Manhar Yadav, Deputy Secretary, Prime Minister's Office, Shri Rajesh Bhushan, Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Shri Love Agrawal, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Shri Indu Bhushan, Chief Executive Officer of Ayushman Bharat, Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, and the National Health Authority, Government of India, Professor K. Vijayraghavan, Principal Scientific Advisor, Government of India, Dr. Shekhar C. Mande, Secretary, Department of Scientific and Industrial Research and Director General, the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Professor Balram Bhargava, Secretary, Department of Health Research, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Director General, Indian Council of Medical Research, Dr. Anurag Agrawal, Director, CSIR-IGIB, the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology, Professor R.K. Kotnala, Chairman, National Accreditation Board for Testing and Calibration Laboratories, Dr. Gagandeep Kang, Professor, Christian Medical College, Vellore, ex-Executive Director, Translational Health Science and Technology Institute, Dr. Satyajit Mayer, Director, National Center for Biological Sciences, Dr. V. Ravi, Senior Professor and Head Neurovirology, National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, Dr. V.G. Somani, Drugs Controller General of India, the Central Drug Standard Control Organization, Professor V. Kamakoti, Professor at IIT Madras, Mr. Itai Gordon, CTO, Head of the Innovation Department at the Israeli Ministry of Health, His Excellency Freddie Swan, Ambassador of Denmark, Lord Karan Bilimoria, House of Lords, Dr. Sangeeta Reddy, Joint Managing Director, Apollo Hospitals, and the President of the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industries, Dr. Sudarshan Balal, Chairman, Manipal Hospitals, Dr. Naveen Dang, Founder and Director, Dr. Dang's Lab, Dr. Mamen Chandi, Director, Tata Memorial Center, Kolkata, Dr. Swati Piramal, Vice Chairperson, Piramal Group, Director, Piramal Foundation, M. Hari Menon, Director, India Office, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We also have representatives of top hospitals, labs and diagnostic centers, international institutes and organizations, ambassadors of countries, and leading foundations. Thank you so much for joining us. Please feel free to put down your questions and comments in the Q&A box. I'd like to start the evening by introducing TataMD CHECK, powered by Feluda.
Working with partners to blend the next generation CRISPR technology with a patient-first worldview, we created a solution that is highly accurate, quick results-oriented, trusted and tamper-proof, and supported by digital technology. Presenting TataMD CHECK. From license to launch in 100 days, TataMD CHECK is the world's first commercially available CRISPR-Cas9-based COVID-19 test, approved by DCGI as per ICMR guidelines. Powered by Feluda, created by CSIR-IGIB, India's leading biosciences research institute, our COVID testing will set the new standard for COVID diagnostics. The TataMD CHECK integrated testing process is economical, uses standard thermocyclers in place of expensive instruments, fast, smaller testing batch sizes give flexibility and save time, easy, paper strip results eliminate the need for highly qualified technicians. Simple, reliable, scalable. With TataMD, you get a committed partner who shares your goal of making quality healthcare accessible to all. A positive healthcare ecosystem fueled by path-breaking science and technology. Designed around patient needs and driven by excellence, integrity and trust. That's our vision, and we invite you to join us in making it our reality.
We'd like to start off with our first speaker, who is the Secretary at the Department of Scientific and Industrial Research and Director General at the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. The whole Feluda concept was conceived in the IGIB lab, which is a part of the CSIR. Please welcome Dr. Shekhar C. Mande.
I'm very pleased that the TataMD CHECK, based on the Feluda platform, is being launched today. This particular launch is a great example of academia-industry partnership. Moreover, it's a terrific example of CSIR-Tata partnership. As you all know, CSIR organization started in the 1940s, and since its inception, it has received great support from the Tata Industrial House. In fact, the first grant that we received to start some of the CSIR institutes, the first 5 institutes, part of it came from the Tata Industrial House. So CSIR is very grateful to the Tatas for this generous donation. More than that, Mr. JRD Tata then also helped CSIR to raise money through crowdsourcing, what became as one of the first and finest examples of crowdsourced funding for a publicly funded S&T organization in the country. Since then, we have had a very fruitful and a very long partnership with the Tatas, and that is only reinforced by the current partnership on the TataMD CHECK based on the Feluda platform. When this particular pandemic hit upon us in late January in India, but in early January around the world, we were taken aback because we did not know the nature of the disease, we did not have sufficient tools to handle the disease, we did not understand the nature of the virus, we did not have proper diagnostics apart from RT-PCR, we did not have any medicines, vaccines, and moreover, we hardly had any knowledge how to deal with the aftermath of the disease. In this respect, we partnered with the Tatas very early on and started working on a new method of diagnosis. And I am very proud that the younger CSIR scientists, led very ably by Dr. Debojyoti Chakravarti and Dr. Souvik Maiti in the CSIR Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology, who had already been working on the CRISPR-Cas system, just simply repurposed the entire their work to find a novel diagnostic tool. This particular diagnostic tool, as you will hear, is fast, is probably cheap, and also is very easy to use. We are very proud of this particular innovation made by the younger generation CSIR scientists, and we are very proud that we have strengthened our partnership with Tata further with this particular project. I wish all people involved in this particular project, and I wish TataMD a very successful run with this particular test, and look forward to many more collaborations in the coming time. Thank you all very much. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir. Our next speaker and his team innovated this Feluda technology and worked very closely with the Tata MD team to make this possible. Please welcome the director at IGIB, Dr. Anurag Agrawal.
Hi, I am Anurag Agrawal, Director of the CSIR Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology. The institute, where Dr. Debojyoti Chakravarti and Shouvik Methi created the technology Feluda. For me, personally, it's been a great, enriching journey. From the time when Feluda, the lab technology of CSIR-IGIB, became today TataMD CHECK, a world-class diagnostic product that holds out hope for a nation of 1 billion people who need to do tests in far-flung areas where expensive machines may not be available. What I have learned in the last 6 months of this absolutely amazing process is it requires a vision, a combination between academia, industry, like-minded people, visionaries, to solve problems. When we started, we had a very promising technology based on Crispr, for which this year's Nobel Prize was given, towards diagnosing the presence of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, which causes COVID-19. When my scientists first came with this idea, we were very excited. Within a month, we had working prototypes. It has taken a long time, but I would say in some ways a very short time, for this technology to be converted into a product. This has required a complete reimagination of the way testing is done. It has required consideration of the experience that a person undergoes and the utility of the value of that test towards control of a pandemic. And I am very pleased to say that we could not have done it without our partners, Tata Medical and Diagnostics, led by the ever-energetic Shri Girish Krishnamurthy and the senior leadership of Tata that have supported every step of this entire process. I really believe that not just this, but many other things will emerge from our collaboration. I believe that together we will make this nation reach where it deserves to be, an Atmanirbhar Bharat with Atmavishwas, confidence in itself. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Our next speaker is currently the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. Please welcome Professor K. Vijayraghavan.
Good evening, everybody. We are going through a very difficult time in the world today with the COVID-19 pandemic. This has caused enormous loss of livelihood, loss of lives, and loss of health. The long-term exit for this is a good vaccine or many good vaccines, but in the immediate, many things can be done, which all of us are doing. One very important aspect is rapid testing and contact tracing and isolation. All these have to be integrated together in a manner so that the spread of the disease is crushed. I'm very pleased to see that the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, through its laboratories, the IGIB and other centers, have developed a rapid testing kit which is efficient and can be deployed very widely at frugal cost. It's also very good to see that Tata Sons has taken this up, partnered, combined it with an extraordinary logistical, analytical backend to spread this all over India and all over the world. It is such partnership and innovation which can result in rapid testing, contact tracing, and isolation of people so that lives and livelihood can go on together. Kudos to everyone involved, the Tata Sons and the CSIR. Thank you very much.
I'd now like to invite the CEO and Managing Director, Tata Medical and Diagnostics, Mr. Girish Krishnamurthy, as he tells us about Tata MD CHECK powered by Feluda, the new standard in COVID-19 testing.
Good afternoon, respected Chairman Tata Sons, Mr. N. Chandrasekaran, senior leaders and dignitaries from Government of India and the scientific community of India, senior leaders from hospitals, laboratories and diagnostic chains, senior healthcare professionals, my colleagues and friends. It's a proud moment to introduce TataMD CHECK, the new standard in COVID testing. Way back in April, when only few thousand people were infected by COVID virus, the whole country, more than 1.3 billion population in lockdown. That point of time, we embarked on a journey called minimum testing and maximum intelligence. The very objective of that, to really understand the behavior of this virus and how we can get prepared to handle it. We worked very closely with some of the eminent scientists, virologists, immunologists, epidemiologists, genomic scientists, data scientists. We all worked together to really work on this. That point of time, the objective of the overall initiative was really to infer certain information which happened. But more importantly, what we realized, the complexity involved in COVID testing. Can you imagine when a country is locked down, you need to move the testing kit to a remote part of India. In a rural India, you need to do the testing. You need to do RT-PCR testing. You need to do various other testing. You need to have technicians. It's a very, very complicated experience. At the same time, there was a breakthrough happened in IGIB lab, the Feluda breakthrough. In IGIB lab, they were able to identify using a gene editing technique of Crispr to sense the COVID virus. We partnered with them, worked, collaborated, and a major commitment from both the teams. In 100 days, we were like working day and night to bring this product to the market in a mission mode. In this whole effort, there is a tremendous amount of confidence and determination. More importantly, a new hope to solve this problem. Moving on, I just wanted to introduce TataMD CHECK. It is not just a test which is coming to really identify a COVID-19. It's a testing experience to solve the testing problem. It has got three components. One is a new standard in COVID testing. Second is an end-to-end partnership model. And more importantly, a transparent engagement with the consumer. The TataMD CHECK product is simple. We can test it in about 45 minutes after on an RNA. It has artificial intelligence power to detect the results more accurately. And also, very importantly, it does not need a qRT-PCR machine or any other machine. And very, very critical in terms of increasing the throughput. Any denomination you can do the test. All these things put together, very, very quick turnaround time and an efficient testing. More importantly, very high accuracy. With that test, I want to go a little more deeper and say what happens with this test in the laboratory. Like any other test, you need a oral or a nasopharyngeal swab, and an extracted RNA goes through a one-step amplification process with a simple thermocycler. More importantly, on the next step, which we call as a Crispr reaction or a Feluda reaction, on that reaction, we identify the COVID. And that identification and the detection happens with a simple paper strip. This whole result detection is immediately instantaneously available in cloud using artificial intelligence technology. This exactly happens in the lab. Moving on further, today if you look at it, despite the best effort of our hospitals and laboratories and diagnostic center, the COVID testing continued to remain complex, disorganized, and very, very difficult to scale, which is really impacting the turnaround time. So we conceived a model which essentially has about 7 steps. Of course, as a manufacturer, we produce high quality testing kit, and the consumer acquisition and also specimen collection, sample collection and testing is done by hospitals and diagnostic centers. But the very critical step which consumes a tremendous amount of time today in terms of detecting the result, analyzing the result, reporting the result, getting the approval for the result, loading into a regulatory database, all of this takes a lot of time. We have a fantastic model to do the result publication. But the last 2 things, which is very, very critical, not only in the Crispr world, overall in the diagnostic space. the laboratory experience. Today, the kit which is manufactured when it goes to a laboratory, the efficiently managing the laboratory technician's workflow. Also at the same time having very effective consumer engagement. These are all the 7 components we bring it to the table. I would like to take this further and show you that when we take this whole concept and implement on the ground, what would look. Can you please play the video?
Renewing our commitment to the health and welfare of the nation, the Tata Group proudly presents TataMD CHECK, a new paradigm in testing that presents an integrated solution optimizing and enhancing the complete COVID-19 diagnostic process in 2 key areas, from factory to laboratory, as well as from the patient sample to the test result. With a new partnership model which guarantees a seamless process that is simple, scalable, and reliable, we promise consumers a positive testing experience. Streamlining a fractured process, the Tata MD CHECK app offers a unique solution with 360-degree support. All our testing kits are stored in temperature-controlled environments, traceable down to every single unit, and adhering to continuous quality checks. Every batch shipped is sensor monitored in real time, giving the consumer the ability to check temperature and storage protocols till the kits are open for use. With the Tata MD CHECK app, the sample is tagged via a barcode scan, and a real-time image of the sample is recorded, automatically documenting each stage. Once the technician has finished the Crispr testing process, the Tata MD CHECK app is used to capture and analyze the result, which is automatically uploaded to the Tata MD Cloud, simultaneously giving access to all stakeholders to view the AI-verified image-based result, as well as giving the customer the ability to update results on regulatory databases. The Tata MD CHECK app is simple, easy to use, your integrated process partner end-to-end, accessible anytime, anywhere, reliable, secure, an integrated testing experience which is tamper-proof, AI-enabled, real-time monitored, automated and completely transparent. That is the Tata MD CHECK proposition and promise.
If you look at it, there are 2 important process happens. One is the testing kit manufactured testing kit goes to a laboratory and enabling the laboratory technician. The other aspect is a consumer. In consumer scenario today, moving on to the next slide, if you look at it, I want to bring it to your attention the left side. Today, most of the COVID test, either it reports positive or negative. Here, there's an image which clearly says what is the result detected for the patient. Also on the right side, when you look at it, the sample which is collected at home, which is displayed, and the below one, the same sample traveled to the laboratory, whether that transparency and the tracking mechanism enabled. This makes an extraordinary amount of transparent engagement with the consumer. This whole technology platform, including making the Feluda science into a product, just in 100 days, we are able to bring it to the market. It is not possible to do it ourselves. There are several people in this process has helped us. I want to recognize few people from the scientific world. I want to thank NCBS, NIMANS and THSTS for the great support and guidance time to time. Also, the regulators like ICMR, DCGI and NABL, all the time their encouragement made this possible. The last but not the least, the technology partner Apify, in couple of weeks, they were able to put together the whole platform in place. And I want to recognize IEsoft to work with us to create an incredible software with us. Also, Genotypic enabled us to set up an R&D lab in a quick manner. Thank you very much for this whole thing, and thank you for the opportunity to make this happen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Girish. That was phenomenal. Our next speaker is currently the Secretary at the Department of Health Research and the Director General at ICMR. Please welcome Professor Balram Bhargava.
India's COVID-19 response has been a graded, calibrated, preemptive and a proactive response with a very strong leadership, and that has been appreciated worldwide. India's testing strategy has also followed the same basic principles of calibrated, preemptive, graded, and proactive. When the pandemic hit India in early March, we had very limited number of laboratories, and RT-PCR was the gold standard. And setting up those labs was time-consuming, training, equipment, etc. And now we have been able to set up over 2,000 laboratories in the country. We have been very proactive in repurposing the tuberculosis molecular diagnostic testing platforms, and now more than 2,500 such machines are present across the country, and we have tested 5% of the tests with these molecular tests of the more than 10 crores tests that have been carried out till October. We also have been the first country in the world to utilize the Rapid Antigen Test on a very, very large scale for testing for COVID-19. Now, more recently, and I'm delighted that the TataMD CHECK is going to be a path-breaking CRISPR-based technology, which will be a shot in the arm of India's testing strategy and will also contribute immensely to our India's 5T strategy for the COVID pandemic. The 5 T's being testing, tracking, tracing, treating, and the use of technology. And I wish this technology all success. Thank you so much.
We're extremely thankful to Professor Balram Bhargava for his support and guidance. Our next speaker currently is the chairman of the National Accreditation Board for Testing and Calibration Laboratories. Please welcome Professor R.K. Kotnala.
Our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji Atmanirbhar program has been supported by Sri Ratan Tata ji. They have brought CRISPR-Cas9 test kit based on Feluda for COVID-19. CRISPR-Cas9 test is pride of India. This COVID-19 test has been innovated and developed in India only by Tata Medical and Diagnostic Company and CSIR-IGIB, which has been approved by ICMR, a big breakthrough in COVID-19 testing worldwide. It does not require RT-PCR machine, so any small lab can take up test. Test is simple, low cost and quick in 45 minutes, but accuracy at par with qPCR test. A very special feature of it, a complete solution from Tata MD, minimum testing with maximum intelligence in testing. Tata brand synonymous to high quality products for masses.
Thank you very much, sir. I now request Mr. N. Chandrasekaran, Chairman Tata Sons, to say a few words and officially launch Tata MD CHECK.
Good evening to all of you. Soon after the lockdown, at the Tata Group, we decided to focus on both medical equipment and diagnostics. We also produced a ventilator, and then we focused on diagnostics because we felt testing is going to be very, very critical. During this period, I'm very pleased to say the work that we have been able to do closely with CSIR, an Industrial Research Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology, has enabled us to create a really high quality product that is very simple to use, affordable, accessible, and scalable across the country. Scalable because it costs low, very low investment. As other speakers have already outlined, it does not require a RT-PCR machine, and the investment is pretty low, and it brings in a lot of efficiency in the whole testing process, because we have considered it as a solution, not just as a testing product, and it has been digitally integrated with an app and a backend platform, so that a lot of analytics can be done and the test can be tracked over a long period of time by the consumer. And so many people have contributed to this. I want to thank all of them, particularly CSIR and also the government officials. There has been enormous support from the Government of India, from the Prime Minister's office, without which this could not have been done. And I also want to congratulate Girish Krishnamurthy and all his colleagues who have worked very closely with all the partners to bring it to a reality, not only in terms of making it available, but the entire network in place so that we can reach the market, and we have also built the manufacturing capacity. So I wish him all success, and I want to thank everyone. Now I would like to launch the product.
That is just fantastic. We will now move into a Q&A session with Mr. Girish Krishnamurthy. Thank you very much, sir, for that lovely presentation. We have questions coming in. Our first question to you is, how effective is Feluda vis-a-vis the currently done RT-PCR tests?
So, in terms of the effectiveness, I just wanted to articulate the Feluda test, the result detection through a single paper strip is the main difference. And also, the testing time, what it takes to do the test, within 45 minutes the test gets completed. And more importantly, the ability to do a minimum denomination testing. What I mean is, in qRT-PCR test, you need to do it in a batch processing. You have to wait for a 96 sample and load it in a 96 well or a 384 well and load it together and run it together and take it out, and then one by one you have to analyze it and publish the result. It takes an enormous amount of time. But that is the biggest difference when it comes to Feluda. And because you can do this without a qRT-PCR machine, today most of the tests, if you look at it nationwide, it's happening in a centralized centralized labs. Now this will allow you to get a decentralized way, which will also get us to become more available in tier 2, tier 3 cities and rural India.
Thank you very much. Our next question is, how does the throughput and turnaround time of TataMD CHECK compare with the current COVID-19 tests?
See, I would like to compare the TataMD CHECK with an RT-PCR test. And when you compare that, today, from the time you collect the sample or from the time the doctor writes a prescription and then you get the result, it goes around somewhere between 24 hours to 48 hours minimum. Whereas in the TataMD CHECK, that can be totally revolutionized. It can be less than 6 hours time.
Thank you very much. The next question is, how different is this from the Rapid Antigen Test?
See, TataMD CHECK powered by Feluda is a nucleic acid test. It cannot be compared with an antigen test. And this is done, that's why I would say antigen test is for a different technique and a different method, and it cannot compare that.
Another interesting question we have is, how do we plan to make it available to every part of our large country?
So our method of approaching this with through our partners. So all the hospitals, laboratories and diagnostic centers and all the channels are really showing a lot of interest. Through them, we can make it available very quickly nationwide.
Okay. How soon would the product be available in the international market, especially the Middle East?
See, we recognize this product has got a lot of relevance in the international market. Today we are launching the product. We would like to solve India's problem as soon as possible, and then we can look at international, but we have some thinking how this product can be beneficial in the international market.
Thank you, sir. Our next question is, when will the test be available to all citizens? Will there be centers specifically for this, and have labs been authorized?
Yeah, so that is quite possible. That is one of the things NABL and ICMR are helping us to form certain thought process that to establish, to make this availability happen in a nationwide, there should be an ability to create only CRISPR test lab, so that those very less equipment, quickly you can set up large volume of lab and test it. So that way it can be made available in a smaller town in a very less investment. And in terms of making it available, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
You have any follow-up question?
No, continue.
In terms of making it available, we are getting ready in enabling our partners in terms of training, orientation. It's a very new product, and the whole thing is a new technology, and the way we test is also very new, and the whole testing partnership model is new. So we are starting from today very aggressively. We will engage with our partner quickly, orient them, create awareness and train them, enable them to go very quickly nationwide.
Thank you. Is this point of care, what is this? What is the turnaround time? What level of biosafety is required for this?
So current product, what we are launching or what we launched is not a point of care product. And we are working on certain improvement and certain versions which can eventually come to emerge as a point of care product. But today, this product requires a typical BSL-2 standard type of requirement. But we are working on certain steps, and there are certain methods on which you can eliminate those requirements. And that also can be made available very soon.
Thank you, sir. Our next question is, will this product now be available in market labs for testing? If yes, from when?
As I told you earlier, we have launched the product today. We are going to work with our product partners to enable them quickly. So I would assume in December it will be available in the market for a consumer consumption.
Thank you. Our next question is, what is the level of skill set required for running this test?
Not much. The standard existing, we are working on multiple models. Currently, to enable the product, initially we are working on all the molecular biologists and the regular laboratory technician who test it. But as we move along, it is so simple. So we can work on little more lower levels, different skilled people. Not necessarily you need a very senior person with a lot of this technician capabilities. We can use it because the steps are very simple.
Another question we've received, sir, is how will the test kits be distributed?
So we have our factory, we manufacture in our factory, and then we transport it to the laboratories based on our partnership model. So that is the current model. There is no distribution model, means there is no distributor right now.
Okay. Our next question is, what other products or services does Tata MD offer currently or plan to in the future?
Can you elaborate on that question?
The question we've received is, what other products or services does Tata MD plan to offer in the future?
So the overall strategy from Tata MD is to develop a deep science, technology-oriented, futuristic product. This is our first product. This CRISPR technology itself has got a lot more major application. The same product can be improved to multiple level. Also, same technology can be used to identify other pathogens and cancers, all of it. So we'll all work on that.
Thank you, sir. Our next question to you is, can the current existing diagnostic centers perform the COVID test using TataMD CHECK?
Yes, they can. They may be having an RT-PCR already working on that. Even then, they can use TataMD CHECK because most of the processes are simple. So for all the additional capacity, they can use TataMD CHECK.
Thank you, sir. We have another 2 questions to go. The question is, will the CRISPR platform be deployed in the diagnosis of other diseases?
Yes, absolutely. And currently, we are using it for COVID-19 sensing, but this can be applied for other diseases.
Okay. And our last question, sir, to you is, how much production capacity is the Tata Medical building?
So today, we are manufacturing about 1 million a month, but we can scale very fast.
Thank you very much, sir. With that, we come to the end of the Q&A. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, thank you very much for everyone who's watching this. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. With that, we come to the end. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay healthy. My name is Vishal Raskina. We're going to sign out. Goodbye. God bless.